Hello, everyone. Back again on what is it, Wednesday, and it is 11 o'clock. I'm starting a little late this morning, heading to the gym. Um, so I'm trying to break it up a little bit into different subjects. Today, I think I want to talk about, you know, just listening to your body. Now, what does that mean to listen to your body? Well, what do we listen to? Do we listen to the commercials that we hear about food and what you should eat, or the commercials about what medicines to take and so forth? Or do we listen to what our body is trying to tell us? For years, we've been told to count calories, eat every few hours, never skip a breakfast, and don't eat too much fat. And so we think about things that, it's like when you think about it in for instance, in the animal world, do they read up on what to eat? Do they have to listen to other sources to find out what to do with their bodies, or do they just do what comes naturally? I think a lot of times, as time goes on, we start to think, well, I heard that this is better than this, in comparison, whatever it might be. And I thought we might focus on really paying attention to our bodies and listen to the signals that our bodies have. And so many people begin trusting their body's signals again once on carnivore, because they eat when they're hungry, and they stop when they're satisfied. This is something that happens when you start eating food that is nutritious. Your body yearns for that; it wants it, and once you start giving it that signal, once you start paying attention to those signals for true hunger signals, then you begin to start to do what your body really wants to do, and then you do it naturally. So our bodies were designed with signals that help regulate hunger and fullness. And sometimes those signals become easier to recognize when we remove processed foods. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, try to put it in my own words. I have, of course, an outline here that I follow. Sometimes I try to, let's see, sometimes I try to go back and see what I have talked about, and then try to mix that up and find some other point to talk about, so it doesn't become too monotonous, because you can. But you can become monotonous when you talk about one particular subject, and the subject I talk about on this channel is carnivore. I'm not a person who that's all I think about, but my channel is geared toward those who are maybe on the fence and want to listen to people that are on carnivore, so they can get an idea of what to expect if they try it, and then that way, they go to a channel that talks about that. And then my channel is one of those channels, and then there's plenty of other YouTubers that talk about these things. And I think that's the best way to do it, is just get a rounded view of what people do, and then you know better how to start a carnivore diet, how to stick with it. So yeah, this morning I wanted to just talk about a few things as far as listening to your body. And some people might wonder, well, what do you mean, listen to your body? My body's not making any noises. Actually, it does make certain noises when your body is telling you something. It could be maybe your stomach making funny noises, whatever. Sometimes if you eat the wrong foods, your body will make funny noises. But you can listen to your body in other ways too. We've been taught, as I mentioned earlier, that you gotta have 3 meals. You gotta eat in the morning. That's the most important meal. Then you gotta have another meal at lunchtime, and then you gotta have dinner, of course. Because that's just the way it is. That's what we're told. And as I mentioned before, animals aren't told when to eat. They just eat when they're hungry. But the thing is, I think that we've been trained by the media for so many years that you got to do this, this, and this to be healthy. And sometimes that some things may be true. You can't starve yourself, but when you're on a carnivore diet, you're satiated. When you're not eating all the high carbs and highly processed foods, ultra processed foods, then your body starts to tell you things. For one thing, listening to your body means that it's going to tell you you're feeling good. If you feel good and you realize you feel good, that's listening to your body. If you listen to other outside sources, especially in this day and age where there's so much information out there that it can get confusing. But to listen to your body means that you're not going to listen to outside sources. You're going to listen to your body. If you're feeling good, if you're energetic, then you're listening to your body. If you're feeling otherwise, if you're always tired, if you're, just not maybe depressed, other things going on mentally or physically, you're listening to your body, and you got to do something about it if it's a negative thing that's happening. So that's the important thing about doing what's good for you. Having 3 meals a day, regardless of whether you're hungry, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think your hunger signals start to kick in the way they should kick in when you're eating nutritious food. You stay satiated. You don't think about snacking. Things like that. It's just a simple way of knowing what you need and what you don't need. And I think too, there's a lot of money in ultra processed foods, a lot of carbs. There's just a lot of money in that. So of course, a lot of the media is going to tell you got to have this breakfast. You got to eat at this time. And you get all these outside sources that are trying to tell you what your body needs. Well, I think that once you simplify it and you eat nutritious food, then you know what your body needs. You don't have to listen to outside sources. You're not, we're not machines that that you need to have this constant information about what to eat, and that's the only way this machine's going to work. It's not that way. We were designed to know what we need, especially when it comes to food. But we've got so many choices nowadays that it's tough. It's really hard because our mind is on other things that it shouldn't be because outside sources are telling us these things. But your body is telling you maybe something else if you just listen to it. There's so much noise around you that sometimes you don't listen to what's really important and what your body is trying to tell you. So what I try to emphasize is just eat nutritious food. The reason I eat a carnivore diet or animal-based diet is because it makes my body feel like it really should feel, and that's my opinion. That's my info on the way to the gym. I hope everybody can kind of understand what I'm trying to say, and I will talk to you right after I get out of the gym. Thank you for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Well, I had a pretty good workout. Today. The gym wasn't that crowded. I noticed the squat racks were all, well, not all of them, but they had some openings on the squat racks. It's usually what I do first. Didn't have to look for a machine this time. Maybe Wednesday's a lighter day. Monday was really crowded. But I just wanted to continue with my conversation on the way here about listening to your body. Your body is constantly trying to regulate. I hope you can hear me over the fans blowing here. It's 101 outside right now, and the fans, my air conditioning's going crazy. But it's cooling down pretty fast. I just wanted to talk a little bit about that because your body naturally tries to regulate itself. It knows when you're hungry. I'm just going to read the list here. It knows when you have energy, when you don't have energy. It knows when it's time to recover, and recovery goes well when you listen to your body. Also, healing. Healing is important because if you're working out, you're tearing your muscles down, and then what you need to do to build them back up, of course, is to is to feed your body nutritious food so it has the means, the tools to work on building those muscles back up. Tearing them down when you're working out, you're building them back when you're sleeping and when you're feeding it proper food. So sometimes we spend so much time following food rules, as I mentioned, I think, at the beginning of this conversation. One thing many people do or say about carnivore is that food becomes much simpler. So, and I always stress the simplicity of this way of eating. We weren't really made to complicate food. I think we've complicated it to the point where, this food is, you can always grab it here and there, but it's usually processed foods that you go after because it's quick, and that's really the poison that you're putting in your body. That's why there's so many chronic illnesses today, is because your body doesn't know what to do with the things that we feed it. Might taste good, doesn't mean it's good for the body. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and back up here and get out of here so someone else can take my parking space here. I had a pretty good parking space today. I didn't even have to walk, but I did a lot of walking inside the gym. But so it's a little tight right now. I got somebody right behind me. Hold on just a second. Don't want to hit anybody. Got all the bells and whistles going off. Okay, I think we're good. All right, so yeah, when you're on this type of eating, a carnivore style, the animal food base style of eating, you're simplifying your food. Not only simplifying it, you're actually taking in nutritious food that your body can use. So, oh man, I don't even have my seatbelt on. Getting so into this recording here, I forgot my seatbelt. Can't do that. But yeah, so you're not guessing. There's less guessing on what you should eat when you listen to your body. Your body knows what you should eat, and I think a lot of times we as humans also know. We kind of know what's good for us and what's not. But there's so many things out there that it's so simple to just grab them, like I mentioned, and just down them, and then it's gone, and you carry on. Well, you carry on for a short period of time because it does not really satisfy your hunger when you're eating real carby foods. There's one person on YouTube that doesn't call it carbs; he calls it garbage, kind of like garbage, because we do just the processed foods and all the carbs and everything could be considered garbage when your body's not able to use it. It just goes through your body and out of the body, So that's kind of like garbage, I guess. But when you, interestingly, on a carnivore or food animal-based diet, you don't seem to. I'm trying to think of a word. I don't want to get too graphic, but you don't seem that food. You don't have as much food passing back out of your body. I'm going to put it that way. Just eating nourishing food, as it mentions here, when you're hungry. And that's one of the biggest benefits, is just that your body's using most of that food that you're eating, not just excluding it, as waste. So I'm at a stop sign right now. I got to think about what to say. Usually I'm home about right now, but I'm going to go ahead and, since I'm stopped here, I can just glance down at this. I think pretty safely. I'll be heading out here pretty soon, but. As I mentioned, that's one of the biggest benefits. Not just changing our relationship with food. It's changing our relationship with food. And yes, I think we do have a relationship with food because food can control us, and we can let it control us if we don't watch it. You want to control your food. You don't want your food to control you. And when you have things that are so addictive, so highly palatable, which means they're just, they're just so good. They're not good for you, but they're so good you just want more. That's kind of like an addiction. So I think that's something to think about. If if you get one thing out of this little rant here that I had, think about listening to your body, because it's really important to know yourself and know what's good for you. And once you figure that out, you'll feel much better. You won't have the cravings that you would normally if you're eating highly processed food. So I think that's one thing to think about is just be careful. If you're on this way of eating, listen to your body. If you're feeling good, pay attention to that because you want to continue that. That's one of the things that can motivate you. If you notice just one little thing that is a positive when you start eating a natural, high protein, high fat, carnivore way of eating, pick out those little things. And those will be motivations for you to continue because once you are satisfied with this way of eating, you'll notice even more things come up. I'll be 73 coming up, and at 73, I really think that I feel pretty good. I've mentioned before there's no guarantees. I know that, but I do like feeling good, and I continue this as long as I do feel good because that's, to me, the quality of life is what you want to look for. If you're taking a lot of pills that you could normally get off of with this way of eating, then you're not really having a quality life if you have to rely on certain pills. And for those who are taking them and there's no way out, I understand. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if there is a way to get out of the maybe the sickness that you are in by having a proper diet, the proper human diet, I call it, just eating natural foods. If you can do that and drop the pills, and that's awesome. If you can't, I understand that there are certain individuals that possibly can't do this, and I get that. But I'm trying to encourage those who are able to maybe get off of some of the drugs and the pills that they have to take due to a certain sickness. But anyway, I'm starting to babble again, so I'm going to quit here. But if you liked one point about this, just let me know. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I really do appreciate that. I appreciate you watching it, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day. And also, if you like this, you'll like this right here. I'm going to put up my interview with Dave Mack. That was yesterday. For one of my first interviews with, I think it's the second one I did, well, it wasn't my interview, but I was on with Dave Mack before. I was the one being interviewed. This time it was turned around. I was interviewing him, so that was a lot of pressure on me. And of course, the anxiety level was pretty high, but I think you will like it. If you check it out, I'd appreciate it. Tell me what you thought. Anyway, I could go on and on about that, but I'm not going to do it. So you guys have a nice day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.